everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to another week with God Over Girls. Thank you so much for joining me again, and a special shout out to each and every one of you who subscribed last week, gave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. They were so encouraging. Thank you for even watching the video, taking the time out to watch it and share it. I hope that you liked the message, and I hope that you actually tried to go to God last week before going to some of your friends. I know it's kind of hard. It's something that you're used to doing, something that I'm used to doing as well. I'm a work in progress myself. I still, tend to want to go to my friends first as well. But I'll tell you, going to God first definitely helps build your faith. I'll tell you that. So make sure that you subscribe, that you give me a thumbs up if you like the material. If you want to go ahead and give it ahead of time, you just want to step out on that faith and say, I'm going to like this message already. I'm just going to go ahead and give her a thumbs up. Go ahead. Also, follow me on Instagram. So this week I want to talk to you about comparison. You know, that thing that creeps in your thoughts and makes you feel as if your current situation isn't good enough based on what someone else's situation is. So when I was going through my depression, I would wake up some mornings and I would feel depressed. And I would add on all these reasons as to why I should be depressed. And some of those reasons included comparing myself to what I didn't possess versus what someone else might, what I hadn't accomplished versus what someone else had accomplished, what I wasn't good at versus what someone else was. And guess what I did with those thoughts? I just let them sit in my brain and fester. My infectious thoughts treating my depression. That was my first mistake. What do we do when we're not feeling well? When something's not sitting right in our body? If we feel like we have an infection, we go to the doctor and we're prescribed an antibiotic more than likely, and that clears up that infection, right? So where is my antibiotic for my thoughts? I didn't choose to lean into the word. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. I was leaning on my own understanding. As a result of me not giving God control, my negative thoughts continue to spread, just like an infection without antibiotics. Had I taken the steps to replace those lies I had let fester with God's truth, I would have been able to replace those thoughts of comparison with thoughts of contentment. Yes, it's true, we all have people in our lives that we know that may be skilled or talented in the area that we are not. However, we're still skilled, we're still talented ourselves, so we shouldn't let others' achievements or accolades diminish what our identity and resulting in our unhappiness or our depression. So if we look at Genesis chapter 29 and 30, we see the example of two sisters, Leah and Rachel, who compared themselves to each other and ended up filled with envy. On one hand, you had Leah, who was fertile, while Rachel wasn't. Rachel was desperate to have children and couldn't understand why God blessed her sister in this area while she remained barren. On the other hand, Jacob loved Rachel with all his heart. Leah was never the sister he intended to marry. The only reason she became his wife at all was because her father switched the brides at the last minute. Leah could give Jacob children, but craved the love and affection that her beautiful sister Rachel received. Can you identify with these two sisters? Perhaps you feel that someone you know gets all the attention and praise because of their looks, popularity, accolades, accomplishments. They seem to have it all. Have you ever considered that these people may be thinking the same thing about you? Maybe there's some areas where they're barren in that you're thriving in. So don't let comparison steal your joy. It is known as the thief of joy. Take back your identity, take back your happiness by searching the word for any lies that the devil is putting in your mind, and replacing those thoughts with what God says is true about you. Sometimes it may take more than a Bible verse. You may have to do 3 or 4 Bible verses. You may have to get up and sing a song. Victory is mine. You may have to look to some sermons. You do whatever it takes to get your joy because you deserve it. God's given it to you, and don't let anyone steal it. Well, thank you so much for stopping by again. But before I leave, I want to leave you with the scripture to meditate on. John 15:7 says, "But if you remain in me and my word remains in you. You shall ask for anything, and it will be granted. Thanks again, lovelies. See you next week. Be blessed.